2026. We are going to get started on today's daily collective reads in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list for today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway today. When we get to 50K likes, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure that you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. And the other thing we're going to be doing today is, if you are on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, all I need you to do is let me know the date that you were added to that hold list, and I'll be happy to add you back as well. Prior to beginning today's daily collective read, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. Now, if you'd like to catch that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the place where we keep the videos, also on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack. But before we get started today, first and foremost, as we always ask, most important question: how are you doing right now? Scale of 1 to 10. There are no wrong answers. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been seeing energetically. We've had there's a lot of activation that's happening right now. And one of the things that I want to remind you that's very important is that it's not just the fact that we went through a very intense new moon in Taurus, but and I wrote all about this over on my Mystic Meditation articles. There's a lot of different shifts that are happening, like boom, 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 like right after that new moon in Taurus energy, because we go straight from, you just got to follow it. You go straight from the new moon in Taurus, which was yesterday, and now we've got Mercury that's entering Gemini. Tomorrow we've got Mars entering Taurus. Okay, it's like it's just like one thing after another to a certain extent. Now, this energy, the one thing I want you to kind of navigate is working through the fact that when we have a lot of things happening that rapidly, it can feel like it does a number to our system, because it's the context of feeling the space by which one feels like one has to change speeds very, very quickly. So I want you to be conscientious about that, particularly and especially with, and I was even describing this was happening. This was something that was happening even on the day that we experienced the new moon, because one of the things we also noticed that was very important is the fact that the moon cycle shifted the same day that we had the new moon. It went out of Taurus and it went into Gemini. So and that's also why I was trying to articulate to you guys, making sure that you're not going through a moment right now where you're assuming things. Because the one thing you have to understand is there could be a lot of like, the best way I can often describe energy like this is and especially with the combination force of working through a lot of the planets that we currently still have in Aries. You've got a lot of emotions, right? You might be feeling really, really emotionally charged, and potentially feeling really, really emotionally sensitive, given the fact that we were also navigating the Jupiter energy that's still in Cancer, right? And then we've got a lot of this energy that often articulates into the space of sudden change. Now, this is a continuation of the work that we saw that was happening previously when Uranus moved into Gemini. Now, Uranus does better in Gemini because the truth is, I like to describe it, Uranus in Taurus can often feel very similar to like trying to roll a rock up the hill. Gemini, Uranus in Gemini is like, it's like the other side of the hill. It's like a lot of that stuff that potentially feels like it starts to accumulate. So I want you to make sure that you're not feeling rushed through things. You're taking the time that you need to do the things that you need to do. And if you are feeling rushed, be able to articulate what would be more ideal rather than how you feel about it. Okay? I know that- and that's not to say, right? That's not to say, and that the reason the reason I'm saying this is not to say that there isn't space for emotions and energy like this. But the one thing you're going to potentially notice is the understanding of the difference between the emotions that feel, right? The emotions that are healthy, that move things forward in a positive way, versus the emotions that sometimes get in our way. Now, this is also having a big impact depending on whether you where you are on the frequency cycles, because the other thing that we're potentially seeing right now is we're moving into the shift out of some of those world relationships, and we also see that this could be a lot of that energy that's moving deeper into divine union at this time. However, it's very interesting to notate what we were seeing or identifying was occurring in the state and shape of a lot of that work. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the energy that is currently in solitude. Now, those were the relationships that have been coming together since the new moon in Capricorn that we experienced around January 18th up until the present. Now, a lot of these relationships, what we effectively see were happening there is the healing of the self that is identifying and working through the observation of what feels energetically holistic, or what we are effectively trying to identify that we're trying to get a better handle of. And the reason we articulate this is because the fact that we're identifying that this is the work in the shape that we see in the world card of the tarot. The thing I like to point out about that card is there's a circle within it, right? And the circle that's there is effectively something that feels healthy. And it's the observation of the difference between something that feels nourishing and restorative versus something that one lets go of that feels frustrating, agonizing, unenduring, annoying, etc. Right? That's a lot of the work that we often see that is identified with the world card, but it's not easy to be able to do that work, right? You have to be able to step out of one's comfort zone. And that uncomfortability, right? The pushing out that often allows us to find a deeper sense of balance within. We see that for a lot of those relationships, these are either individuals that are in solitude, that are working on building a deeper appreciation for their own path of transformation, the observation of being able to see how much one has changed in the landscape of working into the observation of one's own self improvement, or the improvement that allows us to be able to do something in a way that we haven't done it before, while simultaneously potentially recognizing and identifying relationships where we see that that conversation, the ability to effectively, again, get out of one's own way, get out of one's own shell, as it were, is leading to relationships that may feel very much like a birth or the rebirth of the sense of self that is able to articulate upon how one feels. So, these relationships that we see that are coming together right now, what's beautiful about them is effectively that they're identifying and recognizing the potentiality, right? The potentiality that allows for transformation to occur. And it's not the space. I got to point out, these relationships aren't rushing, right? They're not rushing to that transformation point. They're not rushing. And the reason that we see that they're not rushing is because it's the quality and the condition by which they themselves are building into a sense of stability. So they're nourishing and they're stabilizing, and in the sense by nourishing and stabilizing, they're recognizing and appreciating the growth that's occurring in those experiences. Now, this brings us to the moon relationships. And the moon relationships were effectively coming together. These were, and I got to tell you, when I was reading for these moon relationships, it was very difficult. It was very hard to see what was going on there. It's actually clearer to be able to read into them now that they're moving deeper into divine union. These were the relationships that were occurring between the time of that new moon in Capricorn that we experienced, leading into the Uranus first going retrograde that we experienced way back in September. Now, what do we observe in a lot of those relationships? These relationships, I would not be surprised right now if there are deepening commitments, if there is the modality by which they may, like, while we see that the energy of those world relationships are moving with a sense of steadiness and stability, what we see for the moon relationships is potentially more of that speed, something that is occurring more quickly. Why do we see that there may be more of that speed there? Because for a lot of these relationships, the observation or the understanding in being able to articulate and emphasize upon what is energetically important. A lot of these relationships, they're healing the trauma of the fact that they felt inherently that there was something that was potentially causing, right? If these are relationships by which they felt in some way that their presence in relationship was damaging partnership, what they found is the sense of relief in a relationship that has room to navigate all of their facets. It's not the space by which another person is identifying or recognizing or feeling a lack, but they're feeling that energetic robustness that allows them to feel like they're in a space or in a relationship by which they can finally fully flourish. And so we see that for a lot of those relationships, that is why they may be moving into the deepening commitment with so much speed, because it's the sense of feeling complete, that it doesn't feel like it's going to change something. It just feels like it feels like the next logical step. Now, this brings us to the relationships that are deep within divine union. And these relationships, what we're effectively seeing there, these were effectively the relationships that were coming together, focusing on the work that we see in the Temperance card. They were coming together between the time of Uranus stationing retrograde way back in September up until the solstice period that we had this summer. Now, these relationships, I got to be honest, it's not the fact that everything has been smooth sailing. There's been potentially some frustrations being expressed, working through and identifying. And what do we see that those temperance relationships are working on right now? Healthy resolution, the ability of being able to identify and recognize what feels like a reaffirmation in terms of what it is that they're doing in relationship. What's interesting about it is we notice with all of these planets that are currently in Aries, there could be something we see that is happening in relationality to healing their relationship, to argumentation, recognizing the difference between conflict or a fight where there's a lot of that toxicity that's potentially unleashed versus a healthy argument, right? The ability to effectively articulate and express something with the express goal of being able to do something in a way like one has never done it before. So there's a lot of the communication that we potentially see there related to identifying upon points of strength, and not just the fact by which they're feeling stronger, but it's the space by which if they're arguing, right, there's ardor there. They're understanding the difference between fighting against each other versus fighting for one another. And that ability of being able to have an experience by which they can be in relationship, and it doesn't require them to have to be quiet about things, but the space by which they can communicate, it's allowing for a lot of healing. But there may be a lot of inner child healing that's coming up in the process, particularly and especially if they're remembering experiences in the past where they didn't have that gift in current partnership. Now, that is where we find all of the energy prior to getting today's daily collective reads. But if you would like to get on the list but if you would like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack I would also encourage you to head over to my stack to learn more about our next tarot class, which is happening next Friday. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, you've got plenty of time to do so. You still have time to sign up. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've experienced prior to beginning that next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive, as well as the opportunity of receiving a complimentary mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, as well as my mystic meditation articles, which give you updates on everything we've been seeing energetically in the cards. I just wrote one recently on navigating this new moon energy that we're currently experiencing. You can find it over there. Finally, I want you guys to know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or biweekly, as your schedule permits. Also, keep in mind for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or biweekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your particular journey at a discount. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. But let me know in the comments how this energy is impacting you personally, because it is going to affect everybody just a little bit differently. That said, we are going to get started on today's reads. We are going to be prioritizing today subscribers and one cards before, and we're going to see if we have time to also do a daily collective. We are a little bit shorter on time today, but if you would like to get on the list for today, it's an absolutely lovely time to get on the list. You will be the second person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway today. When we get to 50K likes, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and you'll get to 50K in no time. And if you'd like to get on the list for today, you'll be the second person read for. Ella, I've got you down as first. I am going to take a few minutes to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading. Absolutely lovely time to get on the list if you would like a reading today. How are you doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Olivia. How are you doing today, Diane and Kevin? Thank you for joining us. Hi there, Lauren. Good to see you. Panina, welcome. And Adina, thank you for those likes. Guys, make sure to give Adina some love. Had an absolutely beautiful podcast with Adina a while back. You can find it over on Adina's page. You can also find it over on my stack. Go ahead and comment, Adina. I'm happy to pin you up as well. Just bear with me a moment, and welcome to those. And just a reminder to those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, your paid membership there offer you the same subscriber benefits that we've listed for those who are joining us over on the Clock app. Good to see you, as well as Soul Empath. Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. We are doing personal and one card reads here, and we're talking about some of this new moon energy we're currently experiencing. Absolutely. Welcome. How you doing today, Rhoda? Good to see you. Hannah, thank you so much for those likes. I deeply appreciate them. And Avatar, good to see you as well, dear. How you doing today, Theo and Alana? Welcome as well. Thank you so much for the likes as well. Beautiful Mind, thank you for joining us. Siobhan, thank you for those likes as well. Good afternoon, dear. Hope you're having a beautiful start to your day. Welcome, and thank you as well, Jess. How are you doing there, Tara? I'm not sure who you're speaking in relationality to. So I need you to be a little bit more specific. If there's somebody who you're asking are you speaking about somebody who's in the context of the chat space? Absolutely. Thank you. Excellent. And thank you as well, Elaine, for joining us. Purr, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Oh, they are. Oh no. Sounds like you've got a full house situation there, Purr. Absolutely. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, no, not a problem as well. You have nothing to apologize for, Ella. Yeah, I was just giving a recap, dear. Mm-hmm. Understood. And Grand Rising, Adina. So good to see you. I'm going to pin you up there. Good to see you, dear. Ella, you are the first person on the list. Your timing is perfect. A full house of tension, especially with this energy. Absolutely. Okay. Colby, you have a choice to be anywhere. I need to point out, even in the readings, like you're putting a lot of comments there about Yeshua. Yeshua never spoke about the fact that you had to follow Yeshua. If you read what Yeshua wrote, Yeshua was talking about finding the path of the self. So I think that it's very interesting because even Yeshua did not say to seek Yeshua. Yeshua spoke about the fact that we need to treat each other with kindness and not try to instill fear in terms of trying to articulate the sense of lateness. So I hope you find the peace that you're looking for, but I hope you're not trying to share. I hope that you're not trying to spread fear in the context of seeking it. Excellent. How are you doing today, One Piece? How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, well, definitely. I'm happy to do an Akashic for you, Ella. And again, if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, it's an absolutely lovely time to get on the list. You will be the second person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We read for here life path, highest priority messages from spirit, past life, angelic guidance, pet readings, animal spirit guide readings, mediumship readings, love readings, dream interpretations, guides, and guide readings, as well as love and aura. If you have information that you feel is necessary or relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Excellent. All right. And if you're on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, all you need to do is let me know the date that you are added on the hold list, and I'll be happy to add you back as well. And please remember, when we get to 50K likes, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. First person we are reading for today is going to be Ella. But before we begin, Ella, let's warm up everyone. Let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the adder. We'll do it again after the next reading. And I'm going to pin up Ella here for those who are joining us over on the Clock app. Guys, make sure to give Ella some love. We're doing a Akashic, please. 4 cards. Highest priority messages. And thank you for being the first person on the list for today, Ella. You will also be getting an additional card. You know, it's a really interesting read that I'm seeing here. Specifically in relationality to, I feel like I see a lot of the work that you've had to do, particularly, I feel like particularly recently, but a running theme is somebody having to understand that you are fully capable of doing something as they themselves are. And I think that that's really important because I'm not sure why, like I've got this energy around you to a certain extent that we can't say that we're doing something for another person if it's something that we would be doing anyway. Is the best way I can describe it. And I almost see like, and I think it's interesting because I see this situation between, like I've got 2 different energies around you. One is from the past and one is from the present. And it's interesting too, because the energy from the past, it feels very much, it almost feels like you're healing from someone who really just wanted you to sit pretty on something. And there's nothing, and here's the thing about it. You can't, and I think that you probably recognize this. When another person puts our value in our ability to, and I keep on hearing sit pretty, which is the circumstance or the situation by which another person was perfectly fine seeing you in a state of like, it almost feels like a state of accompaniment. You know what I mean? Like a state of accompaniment. Like I'm identifying that I feel like there was something that was fine, but then I see, like I literally see some kind of experience by which you had to effectively articulate or identify to another that was not something that you were comfortable with. Because I feel like I see you, like I almost feel like I see you now taking something seriously in a way that you never have before. And I want to point this out. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with some of this karmic energy that I see that you're healing from. Because, and I want to kind of, the best way I can describe it is um, when we tease one another, then we don't take each other's gifts seriously. And I think I feel like that is something that I see that you are actively working to try to heal, but it's difficult because it's almost saying to me that when you're doing work like that, it often requires you having to be on the same page as another person, is what I keep on getting. Because if not, it often feels like if not, it feels like somebody that effectively like erases one's own work, right? Like you can't be in the space by which you articulate something and then doing the exact opposite. And I think it's interesting because I see you having an active conversation with someone in relationality to that, right? The conversation that you have with another specifically about specifically about the fact that another person is watching them, is what I keep on seeing. And there's something important. I just keep on hearing like there's something really important about that observation, or the space by which, and I keep on hearing it's like you having a conversation to another about their need to to be serious about it, because it's like when they take it seriously, it allows another person to take themselves seriously, is what I keep on seeing. Now the hard part about that is I feel that to a certain extent, I feel like it's interesting because I feel like to a certain extent, I identify there seems to be some kind of limitation that I see you brushing up against. I feel like I see or identify some kind of work that you're trying to do, but the hard part about it has to be like it says to me like a lot of the hard part I see you saying to someone is they have to step out of their comfort zone to identify, to find like what their own purpose is. And I feel like it's interesting because like I almost feel like I've got this energy where you're like it's like I feel like there's this like healthy like this healthy encouragement that you're giving someone, or a healthy shove to try to say to them like you have to, like you've got the capacity to do something. You just need the confidence, and the confidence is something that we build upon in the space of their fear. um and this is something that I see that you are very good at that, right? I don't see any space by which like this has never been like I don't see this has ever been a problem for you. But the one thing I want to identify is um the best way I can the best way I can describe this is when we care about each other, when we care about each other, we care for each other, but we don't articulate the care coming from a place of need. And I think that is something that's very important in what I'm seeing. Because bottom of the deck on this, yeah, especially with the hangman. And I want to show you something that's really important about this read specifically. And I want to describe it. It starts with where I began the reading and where we find it to go. Okay? Because here's that water dragon energy. This is all that emotional, this is all of that wild emotional territory, right? And the thing about it is when we first come into, like when we start feeling our emotions, we often feel very emotionally overburdened, right? And I feel like this is the message you have to communicate to another person, right? Like um it gets easier. Like it gets easier to carry our emotions the more we do so. And I feel like that is a lot of the hard part that I see, because I've just got like, I almost it's interesting. I see you doing a lot of work. I don't know if this is something that you do professionally, or something that you've always had an inclination towards, the ability to help another person understand the fraught territory of the emotions, and why it can sometimes be hard to communicate in the midst of feeling our feelings, right? It's easy to talk about feelings afterward, but in the context by which we're experiencing them, it sometimes feels emotionally overwhelming. But that's why I feel like I see you doing a lot to help another person find the capacity or ability to communicate as they're feeling something. So, the work that one is able to effectively express, that allows one to be able to do something in a way that one has never thought of being able to do it before. However, and I feel like this is the hard part about it. Um, I also see a lot of situations by which you've had to navigate others who just wanted you to carry those emotions for them. Like, it's giving me the type of energy of being like, if you're so good at it, why can't you just do it for me? And I can almost see you having to say to someone, because if I do it for you, you'll never get better. You'll never get better at doing it for yourself. Right. And so I think that that's something that I feel like there's something about that I need you to kind of recognize, because it says to us, it articulates the nature of help comes in many different forms, and the space by which you say to another person, like, this is when somebody asks, I keep writing, like, when someone asks you to do something and it feels right, and it feels overwhelming, right? Remember that your ability to articulate to another, saying, this is what I would advise, or this is what I can do instead, you know that is you being able to effectively recognize and identify what is best needed in circumstances or situations. And further, I think the hard part about that is also, right, like, and I feel like I see you doing this to a certain extent, doing a lot of important work as it relates to managing others' expectations. Because, and I think that one of the hard things about this is, I've got this kind of like, you've got a lot of that magnetized energy, right? And when you're magnetized, when you've got like magnetic energy, the hard part that one often has to navigate is others that want to potentially, I almost see like a lot of others that wanted to see you doing things, right? And then I see you kind of articulating to another and saying, like, this is that portionality of what I can give to something. Um, Remember, like, when you're able to articulate that, the sound you should hear is thank you, right? Because that's what I keep on getting to, which is like, when you do that for yourself, then you give others permission to do that too. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Ella. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings today. If you would like to get on the list is open. You will be the next person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a few minutes to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Also, friends who are joining us over on the Clock app, we are at 4.1K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. Also, for those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, you can also get on the list today for a reading via my tree that is Binks in it in my bio. We read for, and if you become a paid member, you will be entitled to the same benefits that I've articulated for those who are subscribers and super fans. We read for here life path, highest priority messages from spirit, past life, angelic guidance, pet readings, animal spirit guide readings, mediumship, love, dream interpretations, guide messages, love, and aura. if you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channel. Bear with me a moment. And thank you so much, Melanie, for the follow. Good to see you today. Hi there, Bear. Good to see you as well. Just reading over some of Ella's comments. Grand Rising, Nicole. And Alicia, thank you for the follow. One moment, please. Hi there, Avatar. Ooh, that sounds delicious. And Lady, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. I appreciate that. Thank you for the follow, dear. And Grand Rising, Nicole. How are you doing today, Dreadful? Hi there, Ella. Oldest kid. Oh, the past energy. Sending you support on that journey, Ella. And I'm happy to read for you on that, Dread. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. You'll be the second person read for today. I say pass because you had to set a hard boundary. And that's the thing that seems like, and that's what was coming through on it, you know. And I keep on seeing it's not a boundary, right? It doesn't. It feels it's like it's not a boundary if it's a standard, which is like I feel like I see you trying to navigate something with a sense of proportionality. I thought we were working things out through talking about issues, but you couldn't move that way. Ugh, I'm sending you so much support on that. Thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. Yeah. The present one, I see. Okay, I understand, Ella. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Adam. I appreciate you. They're exhausting. Yeah, I mean, like the one thing, but I think that in a way, like what we're potentially seeing right now, like what we're identifying here has to do with the observation of working through and understanding. Um, like, I just want to show, like, you can see that, like, that's why I felt the call to have both of these cards here, right? It's almost like, and I think in a way, like, think about, it's like, it says to me, like, think about passing lessons between the two, you know? Because it's the understanding. Like I feel like I see that one, I see one energy that's like very, like one energy that's like very tight to a certain extent is the best way I can describe it. And then I see the other energy that's just like, and it's like you want to, I can see you almost being like, if like, you know, like working on balance, right? Like I feel like that's what you have to kind of articulate, like trying to find that healthy sense of balance. Hi there, Bear. Thank you for confirmation. Energetic shove. Thank you, Adam. I totally support them in all they want to achieve, and it's taken for granted. Sending you so much support on that journey, dear. How you doing today, Melanie? And thank you for the follow. Yeah, I'm good at working with kids and emotions, but my kids don't see that. Yeah, they want me to carry it. Yeah, they came. Oh, and that's what I keep on. Like that's what I was getting. Like that's what I was getting with that energy, right? Which is not. It's saying to me, it's like it's not the space by which it feels like it needs to be explosive, right? And the space by which you can say to another person, like the ability to communicate in a healthy way, even if something like is how we're able to effectively identify. Like I keep on hearing, what would you have me do, right? Like not articulating upon grievance, but being able to talk about what actual change would look like. Yeah, I understand, dear, and sending you so much support on that journey. Yeah, exactly. You're so welcome, Ella, and thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments as well. Well, we can talk, like, the thing about it, and you know, when you want to get into it in relationality to a past life reading, like I'm seeing some indications as to why there's some of that volatility there, right? Because it does feel to me like there was um it does feel to me like there was some kind of past life there shared between you and them. And it might have been you know, I feel like there it's interesting because I almost like it almost feels like a parent fight, if that makes sense. And sometimes when I see something that feels like a parent fight, it can often be indicative of the fact by which there was maybe a crossover of that in a past life. Yeah, thank you for confirming that. All right, as I mentioned, friends, we are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list right now, it's a lovely time to get. Yeah, it does. I like that's what it was really coming through. If you would like to get on the list right now, it's a great time to get on the list. You'll be the next person read for. The list is nice and short. If you would like to catch a reading, it is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insights on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We read for here life path, highest party messages from spirit, past life, angelic readings, pet readings, animal spirit readings, mediumship, love readings, dream interpretations, guide messages, love, and aura. If you have information that you feel is necessary or relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channels. And for those who are joining us on the Clock app, we are at 5.3K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we will get to 50K in no time. Thank you for those gifts, Light. Appreciate it. And thank you, Scorpion, for the follow. Thank you as well, Light Seeker, for the follow. Happy new moon, Chrissy. Yeah, you know, when I see a little bit of that parent fight energy, Purr, it can often speak to me. It can often speak to me about a situation or circumstance by which another person was one's parent in a past life, right? And that can often come into the arrival point where another person has like a hard time listening to another because they haven't let go of it to a certain extent. And thank you, Intuitive, for the follow. Do you have a book yet, Ella? I was just looking for your book. Hold on a moment. Not seeing it here. Hold on. It was a newer book. That's what I thought. It's interesting because I'm looking for it. I know it was a newer book. Hold on a minute. Just bear with me. I want to see if I just want to write down a note into it. It's odd. Okay, it's all right. Let me just bear with me a minute. Where'd it go? Okay. Have you been misplacing things, Ella? Because it feels like this started ever since I started your reading. I just wanted to ask about that. It's interesting. Okay. But that's what's fascinating about it. Because it's interesting too, because the thing I was pointing out was it's not just the fact that the book's missing, but the pen. Like the pen that I like the pen that I often write with is also not appearing. So it's like, again, like someone who doesn't give you the things that you need, that creates a space by which you second guess yourself. You know, not misplacing, but feeling overwhelmed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it almost feels like time for some kind of new system on something. 1 minute. Hold on. Or perhaps maybe that's what's happening to them right now. Oh, there it is. Yeah, like as soon as I said that, it came back again. All right. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Ella. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Book gone, pen gone. Exactly. Oh, your sacral's been blocked and I have orange out. Yeah, they seem to enjoy if I second guess myself. So I feel like, okay, thank you for confirming what I was seeing there. Right. And I think that that's important too, because like that's what I mean in terms of like you having an argumentation with someone, in terms of feeling like I like, here's the thing about it. Like it's really strange when somebody um like when someone it's like someone doesn't believe, like, and I need to point this I'm sorry, like I know this reading's going a little bit over, but there's something really important to notate. um when somebody tries to when someone tries to get second guess somebody, I'm gonna, yeah, I gotta put, hold on, I gotta put this in your book. I can send it to you. I can send you this message privately. Oh man, hold on a minute. Yeah, this got angelic like real quick. Hold on a minute. There's something going on here. Okay. All right, I've got that note down. I can like if you reach out to me, yeah, no, it's okay, because the thing about it is it's like it's giving me the message of somebody who doesn't realize the harm they're doing themselves. Like that's why I felt a little bit odd having the message, because it's like it's giving me that someone just doesn't realize the harm they're doing themselves when they're trying to energetically harm you, is the best way I can describe it. And that's why like the message that was coming through, like it was interesting because like we it started as an Akashic read, but it got, yeah, it got very angelic very quickly in relationality to it. um but I'll like just message me and I'll send the rest of that message. I'll send the rest of that reading to you. Thank you so much, dear. Excellent. I wouldn't do that though. This is like, here you have to, I like to point out, and this is often what happens when I'm working. And you guys know this, like when we're working energetically, and even in the space by which we're doing public readings, there's things that we read into, or something that I read into energetically, that I feel is more personal. like then I try to be, I feel like I try to be very protective in terms of communicating the things that I think are helpful in this space. So, and that's why I like to have those books, because even in the space by which sometimes it gives me a quick point of reference, if we've read before, in relationality to being able to identify a reoccurring theme, but also if there's the experience by which we go into a private reading, then often the space by which I can relate more of that information, it's more of a it's more of a personal space, if that makes sense. Thank you, dear. And thank you for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal reads right now. If you want to get on the list right now, it's a wonderful time to get on the list. You'll be the next person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. How are you doing today? How are you doing today for those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos? Hi, Audrey. I'm Sin. And I'm afraid the individual, hello there. I'm afraid I cannot speak that language that you posted, but I hope you're having a beautiful day as well. And Dennis, I'm curious as to how long you've been asking rude questions of others. All right, let's continue. Excellent read. Absolutely. All right, we're going to continue right now. So if there's anybody else who would like to get on the list, you're happy to do so. And also, we are going to be moving into, oh, you did, Nikki. Excellent. Wonderful. Are we doing a dream? And what are we doing? Are we doing a general, or do you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? And while we wait for Nikki's read, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the otter. We'll do it again after the next reading. All right, guys, I'm going to pin up Nikki here. Guys, it actually, oh my gosh, you know what's funny? It looks like it's not blocking it anymore. It's not blocking it. Oh, I know what's up. Got it. Okay. All right, where are we? And before we continue here, can I please get, and just a reminder, if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, it's an absolute lovely time to get on the list. You will be the second person read for. If you're also on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, you can go ahead and let me know the date that you were added to the hold list. I'll be happy to add you back as well. Excellent. All right, where are we? Why are you saying, oh no, Nikki? Oh, interesting. Oh, okay, interesting. All right, can we do an aura read, please, for Nikki? 4 cards. And 1 more, please. All right. So this is interesting because I feel like the one thing I'm noticing right now, um, has to do, like, it's interesting because I know I didn't pull the frog in this reading, but I feel like you've been doing a lot of work in trying to heal your throat channel, is what I keep on getting. And the thing about it is, like, when I'm identifying there in relationality to healing your throat channel, is um there's something very there's something very important that I feel like, and I want to articulate. um you're coming into it, and the reason I'm seeing that you're coming into it is, um the observation of, and here's the thing about it, the observation of saying something, right? Like saying something sharp is often the space by which another person says something energetically provocative. I see you, right? Like I see you working through a lot of that, like the overprotectiveness in the best way possible. And there's something really important to recognize in relationality to the value and the power of understanding that, um, I see you being someone who doesn't frequently start things, but you will finish something with a flourish, is what I keep on getting. And I want you to notice something that was really intriguing as soon as we started, right? As soon as we started your reading, right? We had all of the false promisers. Do you see all the false promisers that came in, like, very quickly, all at the same time? It's very important to notate. That's why I didn't immediately go ahead and block and mute them, which I will now, because I just wanted you to see it to a certain extent. Um, but the thing that's important about that is recognizing and identifying that when somebody doesn't have when somebody doesn't have something relevant to say to us, they will throw sharp things at us to try to get our attention, is all I keep on seeing. And I want you to be really, I want you to be very, I want you to recognize that to a certain extent, because um, the hard thing about it, right, is, and I think you recognize this, that when energy's throwing sharp, they're fairly, more often than not, just desiring any kind of attention, right? It's the desiring of, and it's like, I want to describe it. It's like, and I think that you recognize this too, right? Like somebody who would rather try to get a rise out of someone instead of, like it's only insecure energy tries to get rises out of someone, right? Because it's the understanding that, um when, like, it shouldn't build into the context of hurting another. I keep wondering, you don't need to hurt another person's feelings to start a conversation, is what I keep on hearing. And I think, and I literally see you having to say that to someone, right? Like, you don't need to try to hurt somebody's feelings to have a conversation. And I keep on hearing that that's a full stop moment. I also want to write that down in your book, because I feel like there's something about that that feels very relevant, right? but you'll often notice that, right? You'll notice, I think that what's hard about it is, um I feel like you have to deal with that a lot more than others do. And the thing about it is, I feel like there's a lot of energy that builds a false impression as to the type of life you live. I think we've talked about this before, right? Like the like there's something, there's some kind of there's some kind of there's like a massive space by which others have that tendency of misjudging you, is what I keep on seeing. And the thing about the thing about, and I want to describe this, and I think you know this too. When another person when another person misjudges us, right? It's not our business. Like, and I think you know this. Like when other person misjudges us, the inclination, the inclination to correct for that, like the inclination to effectively correct for that is effectively, um within the realm of not just, I keep on, within the realm of not just, it's not necessarily our responsibility to a certain extent, um specifically and particularly because it shows their, it's like it's a reflection of their limited capacity, right? So I think that there's something about that that's very important, because everything I keep on seeing, in relationality to that work, I almost observe you, um, talking, talking to others, or potentially, um, helping others see what their what their lack of perception creates, because there's something really important that I see that you're working through. And it's not just the fact that you're working through it. I feel like I see you no longer invested. And I think that this is the big change. Like, I don't see you. I feel like a past version of you would have been very heavily invested in trying to prove to another, um, like who you are, what you know, and what you can do. And I feel like that's what I meant about, like, it's funny because I kept on seeing like your frog is free to a certain extent, because I feel like that is what I'm picking up with this aura read, because it feels to me like that throat channel to a certain extent. I just see you kind of being in the space by which, you found the confidence. And I like to point this out: nothing will clear a throat channel faster than confidence, because it's the confidence that we effectively bring to things, right? It's the observation or the understanding of potentially, identifying or talking about something. I feel like that is you understanding that is your calling card, right? Like that's where you can energetically change it. So I feel like it's interesting because I see you explaining less and talking more. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, particularly and especially with that Fool card energy. Um, the Fool card, that's the misconception, right? Like that's the misconception that we're potentially seeing around something there. Like that right there is the misconception, because the misconception is often another person revealing themselves through the misconception. So it's like, it says to me, I think you kind of recognize that. If somebody sees you as, like naive or immature, right? All they've done is show you that they are too naive and immature to communicate with, right? Like it's saying, like it's a lot of that. Like I kind of see you kind of like moving through things, but moving through things with a sense of like I keep on hearing like moving through things with a sense of um confidence, because like I just keep on hearing like the certainty that if another person is invested in understanding you, they know where to find you, is what I keep on seeing. Thank you so much. And the hard part about it though, and I think that this is what we were seeing, especially with this otter energy, you know, like you can't, like it's saying to me, you can't win with some people, right? Like it's really saying to me, you can't win with someone who, um, like, and you'll notice this, somebody who's like always rude. And then when you start giving them the space they need, then they try to articulate that you don't have time for them. Right? Like that's almost what I was identifying there in like working through something, but like that's what I mean, like you know what I mean, like it's saying to me, like I keep on hearing relationships should not be about finding perfect pitch. Like that's what I keep on getting. Like it shouldn't like it shouldn't have to create that space. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're giving me that confirmation on it. Like we allow the context of being able to identify and find ourselves, right? When you're looking at somebody, when somebody is looking for you to like have the perfect, like the like to like come to them perfectly, then it doesn't create the space by which there's an opportunity to energetically find something, right? So I feel like there's something about you like finding your own harmony in terms of like, it's interesting because I almost just I keep on seeing like this is what it's going to feel like as you're finding harmony. You're gonna see those, right? Like I feel like it's in a way like that's you kind of seeing something to a certain extent in terms of like, like it almost says to me like in terms of like working through, um like you're giving yourself more patience and observation, if that makes sense, right? Like don't be frustrated. I keep remembering, don't be frustrated by it, be fascinated with it. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list, it's a great time to get on the list. You'll be the second person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway when we get to 50K likes over on the clock app, so make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading. One moment. And Purr, thank you for getting on the list. You'll be the next person read for. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you'll be the second person read for. Hi there, Rach Ray. Thank you for the follow. Excellent. No problem. Your book would not be one topic, Chrissy. Excellent reading. Yep, I got you, dear. Thank you. Yeah. I also, as an aside, yeah. But I think it's interesting too, right? Because it's saying to me, um, I feel like there's something about that, like it's saying to me, like, hate to see it, you know? Like that's the thing I'm identifying too. Like it says like it's a continuation of some of that aura energy, because like I said, the space by which others, like I keep on hearing like the space, but it's like Like what's with all the what's with all the sharpness around you? You know, like that's what I keep on getting. And I think that that's what's hard about it because um I almost feel like you have to go out of your way to like, and this is what I mean, like the space by which you used to go out of your way to try to navigate another person's expectations versus the space by which I just see you like learning more about them and the process by which they have them. Yeah. Yeah, someone is, I knew it. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, thank you as well, Frida. Yeah, the throat. This is true. Yeah, they try to get a reaction. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good thing to write down. And the thing I've been noticing is a lot, and I've been noticing it a lot, and I'm stoic, and that makes it worse. Yeah, but and here's the thing about it though, right? Like, and I feel like I can see you. Um, like I feel like I see you getting better at deciding like what it is you're being stoic with versus what it is you're walking away from. Yeah, and thank you as well. Bear seems to be feeling like that as well. Yeah, I'm not, and thank you for also confirming what you were picking up too. Yeah, you're not placating anymore, and you don't need to explain yourself or over explain. Yeah, I can see it looks like it looks good on you. Janet, thank you for the follow. Mhm. Yeah, not needing the ability to explain. Yeah, one moment please. Hold on. Excellent. Yes, thank you for confirmation, Bear. But that upsets people. But here's the thing, like that's the thing about it, right? If it upsets them, let them be upset, right? Like that's their upsetness. It's not yours. Mhm. Yeah. I know it's hard though, right? Because I can see the space by which you like it's almost like it's it's like I feel like I see you having a good sense as to what like sometimes we can have a good sense on why someone's upset, but that doesn't make it okay that they're upset about it. Like it's that type of energy, you know? Mhm. Absolutely. You're so welcome. I do my best, dear, and thank you for being here and being a part of this collective. Yeah, and that's what I was getting in terms of, like, the hate to see it, right? Like, that's what I meant with, like, even in the space by which you talked about some of that. Thank you so much. All right, we're gonna continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Purr. Purr, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And before we start Purr's reading, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the Earth Dragon. Thank you for participating. We'll do it again after the next reading. And I just need to hold on. I'm getting a little bit of a glare. So let me just put down the blind a bit. Oh, that's much better. Perfect. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep that out for you, Purr. To get a reading, Maybem, all you do is send the donation and you can be added to the list. It's a great time to get on the list. You'll be the next person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 for subscribers. Binks or superfans, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We read here for life path, highest priority messages from spirit, past life, angelic guidance, pet readings, animal spirit guide readings, mediumship, love, dream interpretation, guide messages, as well as love and aura. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channel. And Purr, can you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? No, Purr, this is Purr's. I got you, dear. All right, we're doing a general right now. Excellent. It's been a while since we did a general, Purr. Okay. And good to see you today, Ava. Hope you're having a lovely day. Just a reminder to those joining us on the place where we keep the videos, you can get on the list as well via my tree that has links in it in my bio. Can I please get 4 cards for Purr? Highest priority. This card does not want to stay in the deck today. And one more, please. I feel like there's something really, I feel like I see, I keep on hearing in every space there is an opportunity. Oh, it's on the general. Okay, okay, thank you. I thought you said you wanted a general reading. Okay, okay, hold on a minute. I was like, that was weird. Per never gets general readings. Good, because I was like, what's happening here? Hold on a minute. It was funny too, because I was like, this reading feels weird. Okay, this makes more sense. All right, this makes much more sense. All right, for the cards I've got here. Too funny. All right. Oh, we're doing it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can. Oh, yeah, yeah. Now the cards make perfect sense. Okay, so we're doing a pet reading because I was like, what am I reading here? Okay, so the pet reading is my mom's dog is staying with me right now after a period of weekly introduction and days over the course of a month. Why is my cat acting like a like a mob boss, and how can I try to relax the situation faster? And yes, I know they need a couple of dates. Everything is hunky dory. I'm just wondering if I can do anything better. Um, because they're it's incredibly territorial. Um, I literally the thing about it, you have to understand. Yeah, it's literally it's a they're it's a territory thing right now. I don't know if it's going to get much better. The thing about it is I can see your cat can tell the fact that it's not a visit is what I keep on seeing. They're completely they can completely tell that this is different than a minor visit. Um you know what I want you to do? Okay, this is going to sound completely wild. Okay, you want my honest opinion on and it has a bit to do with what we've been talking about in relationality to your cat, like your pet's ability to appear in your dream space. I'm going to ask you to try something very, 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 very wild, but what I would suggest that you try to do, and it's in connection, it's in connectivity. I want you to refer back to the dream that we had, that you gave me. Okay, you gave me a dream to interpret for a few weeks ago. Okay, and in that dream, a few weeks ago, they already gave you the answer on how to do this. They already gave you the answer on what you're going to do to help them get more calmed down. And what you sent me, and if you guys are on the disco, you can go see this, is you literally sent me, you've already answered the question. You sent me a dream that you had, and you sent me a picture, okay, which was a number. Okay, the picture that's on the disco was effectively a number, right? It was a 1, and then you saw the picture of your cat, and then you saw the next one and the number 9 beside it. So what you're going to start to do, if you want to see if this helps, is how many days is the pet staying with you? I know you love wild suggestions. That's why I'm able to. And again, this is why I like working. This is why I like working with clients, because when I work with clients, 9 days. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's 9 days. They gave you the answer to how to calm them down in the dream. Wow, man. Oh man, I feel like I should be paying. I mean, like, so the so basically, so what you're gonna do is you got to start send to them, right? Think about communicating to them, broadcasting to them in your thought space, or even like or numerically, the number, and then tomorrow, right? The number goes down. All right. So the modality by which you basically show them, right, the space by which they understand, right, the space by which you understand that you're going to communicate to them, this is how many days they're staying, right, and the modality by which they're able. So like they even showed you, right, they showed you that this is the way that you can effectively communicate to them, because I can see them. I feel like their uncertainty and the reason they're feeling so energetically wild right now is because they're perfectly fine. I keep on getting this. They're perfectly fine with visitors. But I feel like the hard part about it is they are completely clueless as to how long the visit is. So your ability to effectively like broadcast to them and say like, look, this is this is what that is. It's also going to like it's going to attenuate into the fact that they effectively delivered this to you in your dream space already, right? Which is how long. And that's what we like. That's what we like about a good dream. Like a good dream will have a lot of different meanings. So it's interesting too, because we've been talking a lot about that in other readings, but this is a perfect example of what we'd already been talking about, to effectively see if it alleviates or brings someone into a better sense of calm. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, we got like there's the 9. Man, I'm just, you know what I'm gonna say. I mean, you know what I'm always gonna say. The wild, like the way we can trust, the beauty of trusting, our intuition is that it leads us to miracles, right? When we're trusting our intuition, it leads us to miracles. So the ability by which um, you yourself are energetically, like the space by which you and I have been pondering, and I like to point this out, even when you gave me this dream, I articulated upon the fact that the numeric itself felt like there was a little bit of a hanging mystery to it, right? You recall me saying, I'm like, I'm not exactly certain as to why. Well, I had a couple of different theories, right? And we had articulated upon the theories as to the quality and the connection point of that particular number that had been reflected. But the experience that we are observing in terms of identifying that number, right? That number now is effectively here, right? You've arrived into understanding a connection point. Then we see, right? This is why we hold on to things. this is why we keep this is why we keep copious notes. This is why we do that work, because it's giving us, right, it's giving us a bit of that aha moment in the present, with the fact that I was like, oh, let's go back to that dream, and ta-da, it's the same amount of time. And even in the space by which, I need to point out, even in the space by which you put an image of a cat, I have to stress that the cat that you particularly used in that image that you sent me seemed to be very perturbed, right? Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Purr. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we're doing today is a reading. I'm also going to take a moment to read over the comments that came through as I was reading. And if you're joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, you can also get on the list today via my tree that has Binks in it in my Lio. Also, please remember that your paid membership there entitle you to the same benefits that we have articulated for those who are joining us over on the Clock app, which means you'll also have a discounted rate on readings as well as a free 1 card each day. Absolutely. That is wild. Hi there, Jade. How are you doing today? Excellent. Mm-hmm. I figured it would. It's not me saying it. I always thought my cat was all rainbows and unicorns, but she's a territorial monster. I don't think, honestly, I don't. I think it's just everything I'm reading into. It's because I feel like there's a question mark in terms of how long somebody is staying, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if you do this and let us know if it somehow brings them, like if something like it's going to take about a day. But that's why I said, like, if like tomorrow, if you do that today and you notice that something has changed tomorrow, then we'll see if we're getting somewhere. Someone does not want to collaborate. I love wild suggestions. I know. I mean, I know. I mean, like again, in the like, but the fact, but the I was gonna. It felt like a wild suggestion until you told me it was 9 days, and I was like, it doesn't feel wild. It doesn't feel wild. It feels very prescriptive. Yeah, honestly. And thank you, Angel, for also receiving this message. Yeah, counting down. Yeah, that's why they had an arch back in the dream. That is how they are. Yeah. So they're, what you saw in the dream, they're effectively doing now, right? So they anticipated this. So they're telling you this is how you can communicate to them that this is temporary. Amazing. You're so welcome, Purr. Happy to read. So, Kooky, for those who are interested, we read for here highest priority messages from Spirit, Life Path, um, angelic pet readings, as we just did. animal spirit guide readings, mediumship, love readings, dream interpretations, guide messages, love, and aura. If you've got information that you, if you would like to have a reading on any of those, I'm happy to read for you. So absolutely. Okay, my friends. And the list is now open. If you would like to get on the list, you'll be the next person read for. It's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. The next person we're reading for today is Julie. Julie, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the second person read for. Hi, Julie. How you doing today, dear? Good to see you. And while we wait for Julie's question, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the blackbird. We'll do that again after the next reading. Excellent. Yeah, it absolutely can have a general reading. I'm going to pin you up here. Guys, make sure to give Julie some love. Julie, I have that book for you yet? Hold on a minute. Just checking. I need a system now. You see, I make more work for myself because now I've got the books and now I need a system. Okay. Okay, perfect. And 4 cards for Julie, please. You know, like, no way. You know, I gotta, like, the thing is, I'm getting, you can't win with some people. You really can't. Because I've got a situation or circumstance where I see you doing everything, like, I just see you doing everything you possibly can to make something as easy as possible for someone. But you can't, like, you have to understand, like, you know, the space by which you the space by which you make something as easy as possible for another person doesn't mean, right? It doesn't mean that you do it for them. You know what I mean? Like, you can lay the, like, when we talk, you can lay the groundwork. You can be like you can, like, you can put all of that there. And the only thing, right? Like, the only thing you can, you say to another person is the only thing missing is E for effort. You know? Like, that's the only thing potentially missing in relationality to, like, trying to make something as simple as possible for another person. And you know, like, and the thing about it is, I feel like you're trying to help somebody right? Their lack of confidence is not your failing, is what I keep on seeing. And I also need to stress, I feel like there's also something I need to put, we got to talk about something here, because um we got to talk about something here that I think is really important, especially, and I want to describe, like, I see a situation by which you did everything possible to try to open a door for another person. And when we do everything we can to open a door for another person, and then that person says, never mind, right? When that person says, never mind, then it's often the quality and characteristic by which it's perfectly reasonable to potentially feel, right? To feel the disinclination in terms of wanting to effectively, like, help that person again, right? And I think that that's really, I feel like that's really important, because it says to me, right? Like, I like literally, yeah, like literally, like I feel like I literally see something by which you are trying to, like, I see it. It's like you being like, like working through something, and talking to another person and articulating and being like, this is like, I see you trying to build a connection, right? And I keep on hearing, energy that tries to build connections needs protection too. Energy that tries to build connections needs protection too, because it's the observation and the understanding, right? The quality and the condition by which we articulate and identify what it is, like what it is that we're, not only what it is that we're trying to do, but the way that we're trying to do it, right? The work that the invested effort by which we apply to things, and the space by which we work towards it. I feel like there's something very, I feel like there's something very significant and important there in relationality to you being able to identify and speak towards, right, another person's, like, I just keep on getting, um like, another person's capability. And I feel like something about that is, like, there's something really valuable about that, because, and I want to describe it, if this is the same person, right? If you go to all that effort, and then another person changes their mind on it, and then they ask you for something again, it's often the space by which you say, like, and I keep on hearing you say to somebody, like, that's the sound, like, and this is what I mean, like, that's the sound of your reputation being on the line, right? And I feel like there's something, I feel like there's really something that's important there. And I feel like the importance that I'm identifying has something to do with being able to articulate to another exactly how you feel, or exactly what it means. And it's really hard, because, like, I think that, I wouldn't even be surprised if you're having a situation like that, that you don't feel like it's a hard conversation to have with someone, right? Like, it's a really hard conversation, because I almost see you saying to somebody, like, I don't want you to let me down like that again, because it feels like, I almost feel like it's you saying to them that, like, that force of effort, right? Like, that force of effort that we potentially speak upon is the state or space by which we ourselves are working into that context. So I want you to be conscientious about that. But I also need to stress, like, bottom of the deck, yeah, you're like, I want to I don't know why this is coming through very heavily. And this is what I mean. Putting in a good word for someone does not mean, like, the difference between putting in a good word for someone and having to do all the heavy lifting is the recognition and observation of energy. Like, I keep on seeing this, like, this is what I mean in terms of working through a situation or circumstance, right? Like, if you're, I just keep on doing, if you're doing everything you can to try to move something forward, there's only so much you can do without coming off as pushy, right? Like, that's what I keep on getting. Like, that's what I keep on identifying. And I feel like that's the conversation that you need, um, that you need to effectively have, right? Because um, the space by which I see you saying to someone, like, I feel like that's all you need to say, right? Like, you don't want to come across as pushy. You don't want to come across as having to be in this, like, when we push for each other, but we don't, but we're not pushy, right? Which is the space by which we effectively celebrate, or the space by which we move something forward. Because, and I keep on getting, when we're like, this is why we talk about, like, the power, I keep on getting the power and value of giving a good word, right? The power and value of giving a good word to something is a cumulative process, is what I keep on seeing, right? The power and the value of giving a good word is a cumulative process by which you're able to articulate and identify the fact that, like, the space by which we put something forward allows, like, you know, it's like, that's what I mean in terms of, like, I keep on getting, like, that little encouragement. The rest, right? The rest is up to them. And I feel like that's the conversation that you need to have to someone, with someone, right? Which is saying that you're, if especially if you're doing everything you can to build into that healthy encouragement, then remembering and recognizing that that is the effective force of effort, or that is the shape of it. I just keep on seeing that a lot of that, I just keep on getting a lot of that energy that I'm identifying there is you, right? Is you helping another person find their direction. But also, and this is why it's important, like, when we want to help each other in terms of finding the right direction, we have to have good direction sense, right? Because the thing I keep on seeing you saying is, you want to avoid a situation where you do everything you can to try to enter, to open a door for another, and then they're not there. And I feel like that's the type of situation that I see that you're working through, like the space by which you're trying to communicate to someone how let down you are, because you were doing everything possible, right? Like, it's like, I feel like them like taking a turn, and you being like, but you said you wanted to do this, right? So make sure that you're communicating to them, like, and I keep on hearing that's not you not honoring another person's choice, but asking, right? Like, asking another person for the gift of perspective, right? Like, I keep on seeing, like, the modality by which we allow another person to energetically know. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Julie. And if this message connected, I'm going to take it connected to you as well. It's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal reads right now. If you would like to get on the list, you will be the second person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Bear with me one moment. And just bear with me a moment here. Okay. Logan, if you're interested in getting on the list, all you need to do is send the donation. It's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more for non-subscribers. It's available. You can find all of the links over on my profile. Thank you. And again, for those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, if you become a paid member, not only do you get a discount on your readings, they become 4 for 23, but you're also entitled to a free 1 card reading each day. I will also say we're probably going to do maybe one more. I'll take one more person on the list today because we are running short on time before we move into 1 card readings for super fans and subscribers. So if anybody else wants to secure a reading today, please do so sooner rather than later if you want to secure that spot. Excellent. Yep, I got you on the list, Stella. I'll read the list right now for those who are on it. The next person on the list I have right now is Stella. If you sent a donation and I haven't named you, then please just let me know the initial where you sent the donation. Don't put the full word in. The apps are very jealous. They hate hearing about the other apps. So just give me the initial and we'll find it. And thank you for the follow, Robert. Yeah, I got your book right here. Yeah, not the energy stressing you too. I can see it. No, look, this is what I get. Like, this is what I get on it. Like, look at this. I got you here, Julie. This is like, you know, hi there, Helen. How you doing? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The way this applies to so many people right now in my life. Thank you for confirming, Julie. Thank you as well, Helen. Yes, and thank you, Kitty, for the follow. Yeah, insert slamming door shut. Yeah, it's like, it's like I see you. I almost like I don't hear you saying to someone like, put on a jacket. You know what I mean? Like it's you saying like, put it like, give something the respect that it requires kind of energy. I can handle rejection, but don't seek me out after looking to repeat the pattern. Exactly. Effort and intention are the most important thing in all relationships. Absolutely. Um, a Cleo, if I'm saying your name correctly, by all means, please feel free to correct me. These are donation based reads. So if you want to get on the list, all you need to do is send the donation. Okay, I'll be happy to read for you. And chat, thank you for the follow. Hi there, Delroy. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Yeah, you don't want to be pushy, but you can't let it slide either, right? And that's what I feel like the conversation has to be had. Yeah, I hope that helps me. I hope that something I gave you here helps to like identify like what that means or how it's communicated, right? Yeah, don't set expectations and not follow through and make that my issue to work through. Exactly. You just said this as well. Thank you as well for receiving this message, Mally. Mm-hmm. I'm the only one putting work in. Oh, I'm sending you support on that journey, dear. Yeah, just let me know if we're you deserve the clarity of understanding there. I do my best, Julie. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. And thank you so much for the follow. Hold on a minute. Oops. Thank you so much for the follow. Let me know. Excellent. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Stella. And as I mentioned, I'll take potentially one more person on the list today. If anybody else wants to secure a spot, we're a little bit shorter on time today. It's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. All right. Stella, well, before we begin your reading, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the Raven. Thank you. We'll do that again after the next reading. And Stella, could you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific, oh, you sent, thank you. And just a reminder, friends, if you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Okay. And so there is some sensitive information and relationality to this read, so I just need a moment to read over it before we continue. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep, I got you, dear. All right, and before we continue, I'm going to pin you up. Guys, make sure to give Stella some love. Mm-hmm. So I need to articulate again the fact that you were deeply hurt. You have to recognize the fact that you're healing from being very deeply hurt from a very selfish person. Okay? And when someone is being selfish, then the space by which they don't energetically articulate their intentions is due to the fact that when they don't articulate, when somebody's being selfish, and it's the space by which all they want, right, all someone wants is what they want, and they will say anything and do anything in order to energetically achieve it. So you saw that. You basically gave me you're giving me two different energetic reads to do in this reading, right? You've articulated the shape and nature of an individual who deeply hurt and traumatized you, right? And you also, what's interesting about it is you then show me another energetic individual who no hurt occurred. Okay? So what do we see in the context of the first energy, right? The space by which another person did not do any of the invested work to state their intention, right? The observation of an individual that never stated what their intention was. And the reason they didn't state their intention was because if they felt they felt that modality of putting the context of choice, when you state your intention, you give someone the gift of choice. So the modality by which you saw a situation by which another person did not particularly do any of the work to state their intentions is the space by which you observe that they took advantage of your energetic naivete at that moment, because it was the expectation that affected you deeply, right? Not just what occurred, not necessarily what occurred, but the assumed expectation in relationality to understanding or feeling what was happening, which was further, right, which was further injured in the context by which they said, as they left, the space by which they said that they would love, and this is what's so damaging about it. They even articulated the fact that they said that they'd love to take you with them, which is creating, again, double damage, because you assumed, right? You assumed from that statement that if they were being true, they were going to do the work to fix their life so that you could go with them. So we see that that is the energy that harmed you, not once, but twice, right? It's a double, it's doubly cruel. And it's doubly cruel because not only did they take advantage by not stating their intentions from the onset and being clear in terms of what was happening, but then giving you a false intention when they left about what you assumed, what they said as a passing comment, but what you assumed was what they were effectively going to try to work towards. A perfect example on the fact of seeing how, and this is the thing about it, often the work we do in terms of being able to heal is being able to see how easy it would have been not to be hurt in the first place. And that's what you energetically observe in the context of that other individual. Because what do you effectively see there? You see a situation and circumstance by which you identified the fact that you and another person felt mutual attraction, right? You felt that magnetized connection. And what did they say? What did they work to do immediately? They were absolutely clear with you in terms of what their intention was. They didn't try to give you a false preset on where something would go, which would have been a selfish choice so that they would effectively be able to like move towards you in some fashion. But they said, before we continue, right? And this is where you see the respect. This is someone treating you respectfully. Before we continue, this is what you can energetically expect from me, right? The modality and the situation by which they did their work to be clear to you upon what their manifestation goal was. And what did we see that happened in that modality? You appreciated you appreciated the manifestation goal, but you utilized the power of choice because you recognized that you had a different manifestation goal and said, then this is where we will leave it. And that is exactly why, right? That is exactly why the first energy that hurt you potentially tried to energetically deceive you, right? Because the selfish energy, recognizing and understanding that when you move intentionally and you give another the benefit of choice, the fact that another person can be respectful and choose not to do something is exactly the shape, the full shape of why and how that first person hurt you so much. Because it's not just the fact that you see the fact by which they were you can see the fact by which you are identifying a lot of the intentional hurt, because not only did they not give you the manifestation goal at the onset, but they planted a false manifestation goal in you as they were leaving. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, you see, when we see here, like 10, we've got that 10 of cups in its reversal. And the 10 of cups in its reversal identifies and articulates upon working into the process by which, when we care about each other, we state our energetic intentions, right? When our intentions are pure, we're not afraid to state them. It's the identification point in being able to articulate what those stated intentions are that allow new possibilities to unfold. But here, right? Here we see, particularly and especially with that 10 of cups in its reversal, that observation of potentially working through, right? This is you kind of coming into the space by which you're working to heal. And often the way that we work to heal is being able to identify the full expanse of how much we were hurt, right? And that's what's amazing about like our healing journeys. Sometimes, you know, we often over internalize because we feel like there's something that we've done wrong, but then in the context by which we're able to identify what should have occurred, we see that one of the biggest crimes, like one of the biggest offenses that trauma creates, is the self-hate and the self-blame that something isn't going the way that we expect. But it's the observation of understanding, right? That is somebody, I told you, that is somebody who lives in a miserable space, right? And they bring misery with them everywhere they go, because the modality and the experience, right? The modality and the experience of sharing in their misery was fully protected in the space by which you articulated the fact that you were hurt, right? Like I guarantee you, like that's the thing about it. It's the fact that like it probably would have happened again and it would have hurt just as much, because it's the observation of someone who has no intention in changing the life that they have around themselves. This is something you saw. You saw a window of something that they do every single day, and the modality by which it affected you and you experienced it, and you articulated your own feeling of saying, how could you, right? That was you effectively protecting yourself from being hurt again, in the context by which, like, and you even seen it too, right? Like the the observation of the open energetic secret that they keep, that everybody is aware is happening. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. The list is open. Actually, the list is closed. But if you want to get on the list for tomorrow, you will have first priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I am going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading. How are you doing today, Moses? Hope you're having a beautiful day. Bob, I want you to make sure that you get yourself to a space of safety. If you're in a moment right now where you're feeling that you are not okay, then you don't need what you need at this time is not a reading. I want you to make sure that you're reaching out to someone who can offer you a support and a lifeline. Okay? I want you to make sure that you get yourself in a safe space and make sure that you reach out to someone who is in proximity to you to communicate the fact that you feel that you need that help. Okay? Spirit's first directive is making sure that we are safe. And once you do that, then you can always come back here for a reading. Okay? And I'm sending you so much support on that journey. All right, where are we? Yeah, thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. No, it was them implanting, a false manifestation goal, right? It's very convenient what they said because they didn't promise anything, right? They didn't promise anything, but and it's also funny too, because where? Like take you with them where, right? It's I keep on hearing it's a very specific curious line that they articulated to you, right? Because it gave you the inclination, you see how subtle it was. It gave you the inference of the hint that they might do something to change something, but without promising it. I keep on seeing it's a very well crafted line they use. Okay, let's continue right now. All right, let's continue. So we're going to get started on one card readings for our super fans and our subscribers. If you would like to get a free one card, all you need to do is become a super fan. If you're a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos. Just bear with me a moment. And sending you so much support on that journey, Stella, healing journey. All right. Thank you for also receiving these messages, Sylvie. Excellent. I got you, Lisa. Healing for Lisa, please. One card. I feel like you've got a lot of ants. Like, I'm not sure what you just did recently, but it feels like some kind of celebratory energy, particularly bottom of the deck. Yeah, Hermit card in its reversal. Like, I don't know. Are you speaking up about stuff? keep clearing that throat channel. Looks good on you. Is what I keep on hearing. Yeah, keep on clearing. Keep clearing that throat channel. Looks good on you. Is where are we? Good to see you today, dear. Just in time, Bridget. Beautiful. How you doing today, dear? Avatar, one card, highest priority, please. You don't have to tell anybody anything. What is this? Right? What is this? This moon card, bottom of the deck. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles. You know what? You know, energy, I need to point this out. Okay? Like like it's giving me a lot of out with it. You know? And I feel like I don't know why. Okay, so you know, I feel like there's something significant and important in relationality. Like I feel like were we reading on this the other day? Like somebody who articulates that they've got something important to say, and then you don't respond fast enough and they say never mind. That's codependent energy, right? That there you go. Like there's the proof of the codependence, right? Because um codependent energy looks towards speed, right? It looks towards speed as opposed to quality. Ella, one card. One card, please, on their message. I feel like it's somebody communicating how much they believe in you, is what I'm getting. I feel like it's somebody saying that you and them, wow. So I just need to, wow. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was kind of rendered speechless, and I want to kind of communicate to you why. And I need to show you. I just need to show you what just happened because it's your message, not mine. So hold on a minute. Can you just hang tight for a second? So I have this beautiful art piece by an artist named Daniela that I got recently. And I just want to show you because this was incredible. I drew the high priestess and I was holding the high priestess, and Strega, my cat, was asleep on the windowsill. And at the same moment that I drew the high priestess, Strega reached out her paw in her sleep and put her hand, put her paw right here on the visage of Mary. So I'm just, it feels like, I feel like that was the message that I was getting, because I was literally about to say the fact that somebody was about to say, we're not very different, you and I. That was what I was about to say. And as I did so, right, like, she did that, and it was like, it took my breath away. Right. So I feel like, I don't know if there's moments or opportunities that you sometimes feel touched, but I keep on getting some kind of sense, animal spirit, that's them, right? Reaching out to you spiritually in some way. Thank you so much for having that reading. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Ellen. Thank you for asking that, and thank you. Again, it was just it was a very profound moment I felt in that moment. I wanted to communicate what I was seeing as I was doing the reading. Annie, we are short today on time, so we haven't had the opportunity of doing a full collective. We've been doing personal reads that we've been collectively receiving. How you doing today, Ray? Hi there, Alexandra. One card on the approach. I got you, dear. One moment, please. One card, please. I feel like there's something about this that I'm seeing in terms of you. I don't know. I feel like this is you trying, like, going other places or going other spaces to meet others, is what I keep on getting. Yeah, especially with the Chariot energy. I keep on hearing mutual interest. Allow a mutual interest to guide a connection. Yeah, particularly with the Ram energy, right? Um, like, I keep wondering, seeing somebody doing something that you love, rather than another person saying, "Oh, I like that too." I don't know. I don't know if you've been getting, I don't know if you've been having some issues with some kind of like energetic echo chamber in terms of another person, like trying to say, like somebody trying to build, I keep hearing somebody trying to build connection, but just saying like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like being somewhere and seeing somebody that actually shares something that you genuinely enjoy. Yep. Bridget, one card, please. Highest priority. Okay. We've got the Eight of Cups in its upright. So I feel like there's something I identify that you're doing right now, um, particularly and especially as it relates to, you know, I feel like I see you getting better at walking away from things. And here's the thing about it. Yeah, especially with like the 10 of Cups in its reversal, you know, it's not your job to effectively have to fix everything, is what I keep on getting. And yeah, especially with the cat energy, um I feel like I see you doing something in some way, um wherein you're like, it's like, it's saying to me like, there's nothing more blessed than knowing your limits, which is the observation of being able to say to another person, like, I wish I could, but like, this is what I can do instead. Right. So I feel like there's something important about that, because it feels like I almost see you in a couple of different things right now, like trying to identify what feels healthy. So allow that sense of health to build into the context of what feels supportive, is what I keep on seeing. Right. Like, and it's interesting too, because I keep on hearing like spirit, like emotional health first, Not emotional health on the shelf is what I keep on getting. No emotional health on the shelf, which says like, oh, but just this thing being like, no, it's not. It's always just a thing, is what I keep on hearing. Chrissy, one card regarding connection. Oh, I got the Three of Wands. I feel like I see you getting better at communicating to another in relationality to what it is that you're hoping to create in order to make sure that you and another individual are on the same page from the start. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, there's that Two of Cups in its reversal, right? Like I none of this, like I feel like the like I just keep on hearing the same message, which is like we can talk to one another about what it is that we aspire for without promising it to each other, right? Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with the hair, right? Like the gift we give each other is mutual awareness. Absolutely. You're welcome, Bridget. Absolutely. Just taking a moment. Mm-hmm. Stella, one card, highest priority, please. Yeah, it feels like an angelic message, which says like I keep on hearing forwards, not backwards, right? The ability to understand, right? I keep on hearing like I didn't deserve, like you didn't deserve that, right? You didn't deserve that are your words of healing right now. And the thing about it is like um you know, when another person is selfish and they are taking and you articulate to them and say like I didn't deserve that, it's like you can't. It's like they like they it's like they realize what they're doing, and there's nothing that you can articulate, right? Like the space by which you articulate to them, right? The capacity. It's like a person can take accountability only to the level that they're able to fully see themselves, right? And so, like that's what I keep on getting with that death card in its reversal, which is like you can't, like if you keep on articulating it to another person and all they're doing is denying it, right? Like what it is. You don't need their affirmation to know that you're in the process of healing. And sometimes I know it's like very restorative, but unfortunately when it comes to trauma, like we never get that conciliation. But it doesn't mean that we aren't capable of healing through it in the same fashion. Mm-hmm. You're so welcome, dear. Thank you for confirmation, Avatar. You're so welcome, dear. I know, Ella, it took my breath away when it happened. I wish you could have seen what I was seeing, which is why I was like my jaw was like hitting the floor because I was about to say that and then I saw it and I was like and especially because Strega was asleep, it felt like a message from them, you know? It was beautiful. I'm very glad that you need, I mean, like, yeah, like it feels a lot like somebody who wishes they could, like, wants to give you that support. Absolutely. I know. It was amazing. It was so beautiful. Oh, you're so welcome. And then, yeah, I know, Strega, she's asleep again. I went over and she was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? How you doing, Dada? Annie, your super fan status has gone away. So if you want to recharge your super fan status, I'm happy to draw you a card. I got you, Ava. One card message, please, from Ava for Ava. Um, the Six of Pentacles and its reversal, um, which says like I feel like there's something about you trying to find energy that makes you feel less alone. And I keep on hearing, remember that they're doing that work too. You know, bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially with the star card. Remember, you're not alone, right? Your ability of understanding. I know sometimes I feel like there's something about you working through things, and occasionally I feel like I see you working through things and sometimes feeling like very much like you're the only one that feels that, but the animal spirit guide, you're not, is what I keep on hearing. Like, I keep on hearing, keep following the sacred, let the sacred guide you to sacred. Thank you for the compliment, Pesty. We do. Hi there, elevator. um I'm a tarot reader, so yes. All right, let's continue right now. Oh, thank you for confirming, Bridget. Yeah, you're in that liminal space. You're so welcome. Really, Alexandra? Wild. Okay, hold on a minute. Hi, Alejandro. Welcome. You're welcome, Chrissy. Tiff, one card, highest priority, please. Let's see. You're so welcome, Ava. I just keep on hearing community, community, community. Right? That when we when we build like the space by which we feel energetic support is we find the support we need by communicating upon how we feel, is what I keep on getting. Bottom of the deck, especially with the 7 of Pentacles in its upright. So something about being able to talk to another person in relationality to your journey, or in the space by which you have effectively, like, I keep on hearing, we have the right to talk about things that we have personally experienced. Animal spirit. Yeah, it doesn't mean that in that way, it doesn't mean that um it doesn't mean that we can always understand each other perfectly, but that ability of being able to work through something is effectively how we identify or recognize the value of our experience, which is not to say, like, it's not, I keep wondering, it's not the same thing, but it helps us understand an inkling of what another person may have gone through. Yep. Hi there, Ruby. One card on their feelings. I mean, I feel like I see somebody who feels like they fulfilled their obligation around something. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I almost feel like I see somebody really upset. Really upset. It almost feels like it's giving me some kind of energy of like, I don't know if there was a promise that was made to them about something that they were expecting if they were doing something. But I feel like I feel like there was something about that it's like something that they went to do that didn't turn out to be the way that they expected it to be, is what I keep on seeing. Mel, these are one card readings for super fans. If you'd like to become a super fan, you're welcome, Stella. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Alexandra. As I mentioned, Annie, these are one card readings for super fans. If you would like to get on the list for a full reading tomorrow, you can send the donation today, and you'll be first priority tomorrow. But we're only doing one cards right now for super fans. That said, if you'd like to become a super fan, you just need to become a super. There's an orange icon at the bottom of the screen where you can become a super fan. Yeah, please do, Alexandra. Same thing as I mentioned, Helen. They're with all of us, Jason. And thank you, Tom, for the follow. Okay. Oh, thank you for confirming, Tiff. Oop, hold on a moment. Okay, 1 second, please. What are you still doing here? Go to the disco. I like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that excitement in the tea. The tea, the tea, the tea. Oh, interesting, Ruby. Yeah, like it's so it feels like somebody carrying a bit of a grievance about something. Absolutely. And thank you, Bridget. Have a beautiful day. My friends, we've reached the conclusion of our reads today. We are going to be back on tomorrow. A final call for anyone who is a super fan or a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos. We will be back on tomorrow at our a little bit later than we typically are. So we'll be back on probably closer to 11. Again, I usually keep my most updated schedule on the disco. So if you became a super fan today or a paid member, welcome. Message me directly with a disco GIF, and I'll be happy to send you an invite to the disco. There you can say hello to the collective, and you'll also find in the perks section a special coupon code that will give you a discount to our next tarot class subscription. Class program, class subscription, class program. Our next class is this Friday, and we're going to be focusing our studies on the court cards in the Pentacle suit. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here and spending your afternoon with me. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my mod K Megan. I hope you are well wherever you may be. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.